let's do the 3-book challenge. This one is 3 books that I believe deserve more hype, 3 books that I'm obsessed with, and 3 books that I think I'm going to be obsessed with. So the 3 books that I think deserve more hype. This is a new book that came out just a couple of months ago, and I've not seen a whole lot about it on any of the socials, but I read it and I absolutely adored it, and that is The Girls Who Grew Big by Layla Motley. And this is the author of Night Crawling, which I thoroughly enjoyed. And this is the story of a group of young women who, as you can imagine from the cover, it's a gorgeous cover actually, but as you can imagine from the cover, 3 girls who, or a group of girls who all are teenage mothers, and it's their story. I'm thinking about doing a more in-depth report on this one. Let's just say that Layla Motley is a superb modern young writer. She knows how to tell a great story. She knows how to build characters. This is really sort of a found family cultural tale of how young women who find themselves in this predicament are treated, what their hardships are, and just gripping. Really enjoyed this. I think it deserves more hype, especially right now. It's a relatively brand new book. So there's that one. The next one, I know I did see some people just really adored this, and so it got some hype, but I don't think nearly enough. And that is As Long as the Lemon Trees Grow by Zulfa Katao. And this is a story about a young woman in Syria. And it's a story of war and of refugees. And it's just a beautiful love story to the culture. And the prose on this are unbelievable. They're just really fantastic. 5-star read for me, as was this one, both 5 stars. Obviously, I think books that deserve more hype for me would have automatically gotten 5 stars. Anyway, cried on this one. I don't normally cry when I'm reading a book, but this brought some tears. Definitely worth a read. And this one is one that I've never seen anywhere on the socials. This is called The 30 Names of Night by Zen Jokardar. Fantastic, highly underrated author. He writes this book about youth. It takes place on multiple timelines, and I'm stuck for words because the prose is some of the best prose I've ever read. This author has a few other books that I've read, fantastic books, but this one just absolutely gripped me. And just a gorgeous cover as well. So The 30 Names of Night is an imaginative and intimate exploration of how we all search and ultimately embrace who we are. This is the story following 3 generations of Syrian Americans who are linked by the truths they carry close to their hearts. This author wrote a book called The Map of Salt and Stars, which I also thought was phenomenal. This is one of my favorite books of all time, actually. Absolutely adore this. So let's continue on with 3 books that I'm obsessed with. 3 books that I'm obsessed with. Okay, the most recent one is The Night and the Moth by Rachel Gillig. This book made me fall in love with a gargoyle. And I never thought I would say that, but it did. It is a fantasy romantasy, although it's really light on the romance. I think probably Rachel Gillig's best work that I've read so far. I read a couple of her other books, and highly recommend this. Gorgeous cover. I'm obsessed with this. I cannot wait. I believe this is a series. I cannot wait for the next book to come out, and I can't wait to follow more of the gargoyle. Anyway, this is a really great one. If you're not into fantasy or romantasy, but you're interested or curious, this would be a really good first entry into that. The next book that I think, or that I know that I'm obsessed with, is called The House of Frank by Kay Sinclair. And this came recommended by a fellow creator. I'll link her name here. Her name happens to also be Chris with a K, which is kind of funny, but just, I would call this cozy. It's definitely fantasy, but it's about a deeply impactful work about grief, told in the most beautiful, loving, lighthearted, whimsical way imaginable. Again, if you are new to fantasy or are just curious and have never really read fantasy, this would be a good starter one as well. House of Frank, absolutely adorable. Love this, love this. And the next one is one, these were all fantasy books, so I guess there's a pattern there. But Legendborn by Tracy Dion. I believe this is a young adult version of fantasy, I think, but it's definitely told from the perspective of older teens, sort of college age folks. Just fun, great character building. It's a little bit of a bigger one. What is this? This is how many pages? About 500 pages. Never got bored, never once. Page turner, absolutely loved it. This is the first in a trilogy. I have the second one. I will read very soon, and can't wait to actually finish the whole series. But remarkable work. This is really, really great. Legendborn by Tracy Dion. And then the three books that I think I'm going to be obsessed with. This one, I've seen a couple of other people speak of this on booktube and book talk and some of the other channels, but this is Rebecca by Daphne du Maurier. This falls into my classics that I really can't believe I haven't read yet. But I've heard many people say that this is their favorite book of all time, because of the prose and the character building and the story building and just all of the pieces that make any great novel a fun read. So very much looking forward to this. This says on the front, best novel of the century. I don't know by whom, but anyway, I don't know who decided that, but really looking forward to this. I think I'm going to eat this up. The next one is, as I'm going through these, I'm realizing how much of my reading is moving towards the fantasy edge of literature. This is Blood Over Brighthaven by M.L. Wong. Just heard a lot of great things about this. Heard a lot of people say that this was their favorite of the year when it was published, that this just couldn't get enough of this. So I think I'm going to really like this too. And the last one, I can't believe I haven't read this yet this year, but I'm a little bit intimidated, and that is Catabasis by R.F. Kuang. I call it Catabasis and not Catabasis because I actually heard R.F. Kuang giving a talk about this book, and she pronounced it Catabasis. So I don't know. Doesn't matter. Who knows? But I read Yellowface, I read The Poppy War, and will continue the Poppy War series. But this was sort of the be-all, end-all of releases this year, I think, for a lot of people. It's heavy. It's beautiful. Look at that. And again, it is fantasy. It is quite academic. And maybe that's why I'm a little bit intimidated by it. I feel like I need to take it seriously and have a notebook by my side as I'm reading it. But I think given the right time and space for this, I'm going to absolutely fall in love with this book. So there you have it. That's my 3 that deserve more hype, 3 that I'm obsessed with, and 3 that I think I'm going to be obsessed with. Would love to hear your thoughts. Tag whoever's out there who's seeing this. Let's hear what you have to say.